Some people grow through effort, carving their path with persistence, repetition, and the quiet discipline that turns small improvements into mastery, while others seem to arrive already glowing with a gift that feels almost untouched by struggle, loved not for what they build but for what they simply are. Jungkook moves somewhere in between, and that in-between space is precisely what makes his story so compelling, because he embodies both the romance of natural talent and the rigor of relentless work, the kind of artist who can step onto a stage and make excellence look effortless while carrying behind him years of practice, doubt, and the stubborn decision to improve even when he was already praised. And this duality creates a rare balance where admiration is not only for what he can do but for how deeply he cares about doing it better, again and again, as if talent were only a starting point rather than a destination. And you can see it in the way his voice has matured from a bright, youthful tone into something more textured and controlled, shaped by breath training, emotional awareness, and the courage to experiment with styles that challenge his comfort zone. You can hear it in the stability of his live performances where movement and melody coexist without compromise, a sign not just of ability but of hours spent refining muscle memory until it becomes instinct. And you can feel it in the quiet confidence he carries, a confidence that does not deny vulnerability but integrates it, allowing him to be both the golden performer admired by millions and the young man who still approaches his craft with curiosity, still watches himself critically, still asks how he can be better tomorrow than he was today, which is the mindset of someone who refuses to let talent become a cage. And perhaps that is why audiences connect with him so intensely, because he represents a bridge between two comforting ideas: that some people are born with light, and that light can still be nurtured, expanded, and earned through effort. And in a world that often separates gifted from hardworking, he dissolves that boundary, showing that the most luminous artistry comes from the conversation between the two, from the humility to train and the courage to shine, from the willingness to fail in private so that excellence can appear in public. And there is something deeply human in that process, something that turns admiration into inspiration, because when someone with obvious natural ability continues to practice as if they have none, they validate the value of effort for everyone else. They make growth visible, they make improvement aspirational rather than intimidating, and they remind us that talent is not a finish line but a responsibility, a promise that must be fulfilled through dedication. And this philosophy is evident not only in his singing and dancing but in the way he approaches new skills, whether learning instruments, exploring visual art, refining physical training, or experimenting with production, each endeavor approached with the same beginner's mindset, the same patience for incremental progress, the same willingness to repeat until repetition becomes rhythm, and rhythm becomes identity, and identity becomes something larger than the individual, something shared with the audience that watches not just for perfection but for evolution, because watching someone grow in real time creates a narrative more powerful than any single performance. It turns a career into a story of transformation, and Jungkook's story is one of constant motion, never fully satisfied, never fully finished, always reaching, always recalibrating the distance between who he is and who he could be. And that pursuit creates a magnetism that pure talent alone cannot sustain, because effort adds depth, it adds weight, it adds the subtle imperfections that make achievement meaningful. And perhaps that is why he exists so comfortably in that middle space between being born gifted and becoming great, because he does not rely on one or the other, he merges them, allowing talent to open doors and effort to build the rooms behind those doors, allowing praise to motivate rather than settle him, allowing expectation to challenge rather than confine him. And in doing so he becomes not just a symbol of excellence but a model of growth, a reminder that brilliance can be both inherited and earned, both effortless in appearance and laborious in reality, and that the most enduring artistry is created not by choosing between talent and hard work but by weaving them together until they are indistinguishable, until the performance looks like pure instinct while being constructed from countless hours of unseen dedication. And that is where he stands, in that quiet intersection where gift meets grind, where admiration meets aspiration, where what he was born with meets what he chose to become.